How's it going, everyone? It's D the Firefly, and today I'm going to be talking about a borderline touchy subject, and it's just financial shame. Now, whenever you start talking about money, people are going to have a lot of emotions coming up. This is a real statistic, but most people would rather talk about their sex lives than about their financial lives. And I mean, it's rough, because being in a bad financial spot, it can put the harm on you. It can stress you out. It can become all you think about, make it hard to eat, sleep, like hard to even buy things that you need, like clothes and shoes, because you're wondering, like, oh, how am I going to wake up tomorrow? How am I going to pay the bills? There can be a lot of emotions when it comes to money. A test by financialeducatorscouncil.org shows that about 63.17% of Americans tend to be financially literate. That means that there's 37% or so of people out there who are not financially literate right now, who are struggling and maybe don't know about investing, don't know about savings accounts, don't have bank accounts, still going to like check cashing, and that's rough. And it's important to educate, it's important to show that there's rules in place, like there's the SEC, there's FINRA, like your money is protected, you don't gotta hide gold in the backyard. But there can be a lot of mistrust if you got burned in the past, and it can just be a real struggle. And I feel like judgment doesn't really help the issue. So I guess to start, I'll talk about the difference between being broke and being poor. Now, being broke is just the situation of not having money. There's no danger associated with it. It just means your bank account's empty right now. If you're broke, you still got a place to live. You still have maybe parents you can fall back on if you're young. Maybe you have a spouse who's working, but your bank account's empty. Maybe you're 16 or so. You don't even make money yet. You don't have money because your parents make money and you don't do anything. That's situational. But poor is a little different. When you're poor, that's like no matter how hard you try, you can just be stuck because of circumstance. If you're living in a low-income neighborhood, there might not be places around for you to buy food in bulk. There might not be a safe place to get an auto dealership. There might not be people willing to give you credit so that you can start building credit and eventually apply for a mortgage on a house. I always see those like Rocket Auto loans or like payday loans and such, and it's like terrifying. It's taking away such a huge interest rate and like taking advantage of almost the lower class. And not addressing that there is a difference or just kind of shielding your eyes to it I feel like that contributes to a greater problem. But I also feel like there's no shame in being poor if that's where you're at right now. There's ways to get out of it. I've been there. That's why I post these videos. I guess with a lot of personal finance, it can be easy to judge, especially when maybe you're in the six-figure club and you've got all your investment accounts and you're getting set up to retire. You're wondering how people haven't even tried by 50 or haven't set it up yet. And it's like no matter where you're at, you got to just be willing to work and change and at least maybe, not necessarily change, but at least try. And I feel like there's honor in putting in the effort to try to live a better life. If you can start budgeting and getting your finances in order, you can not only do what you want to do, but you can start giving back. Whether for you that's your church, your local charity, whatever that means. Whether that's educating or giving back your time, If you don't have to work like 80-hour weeks just to survive, you can use that free time to spread some sort of cheer in the world. And it can be rough, the current situations that we have. Housing discrimination is a real thing. Low-income housing is a good option if you can get government support on your housing and things. But then if you're in a safer, high-income neighborhood, you're probably not going to vote for that because if high rates of crime tend to be correlated with, low-income housing, that's not necessarily something that you're going to want to voluntarily where you live, even though doing so might be better overall for the people who are struggling. And that can be a concern too. It's like your safety, society's betterment. Money's just a tool. It can be used for good, it can be used for evil. But as with most things, there's a lot of gray area. There's not really a lot of answers, But there are a lot of facts that weren't necessarily taught in school, especially when I was young. You know, whether it's your opinion that the game is rigged or not, even if the game is rigged, you still gotta play it. If you live, at least here in the US, inflation's gonna keep happening. There's gonna be rising prices, rents are gonna go up, and I mean, you gotta hustle and you gotta find a way to survive, or you gotta find an area where you can afford to live or something. And you shouldn't be put to shame for doing the best you can to further better your financial situation. Whether that's taking the opportunity to save and maybe not hanging out with people as much, or whether that's taking a break. Some days I just get exhausted. I get burnt out and I get real down, and I just spend entire days on the couch just binge watching Netflix. And there's days that are gonna go that way. Now, if you look at my track record, I mean, I'm pretty borderline broke poor right now. It might be tempting to say, oh, like, well, shouldn't you be making more money right now? You're in your 20s. That's the best time you could earn income. And that's true, but when you've experienced what it's like to be truly destitute, sometimes you just need a break. Sometimes you need that pint of ice cream. You need that, like, new pair of shoes or whatever it is just to keep going. And I guess I just wanted to say that even though this is a channel about money and things, that's not my end goal. Don't follow cash just for cash. You're going to lose a bunch of friends and it's not going to get you anywhere. You know, you want to learn about personal finance because it's going to help you. It's going to help you be with your family. It's going to help you hang out with your friends. It's going to help you live a stress-free lifestyle. It's going to help you be able to give back to your community. Yeah. And I'm sorry for rambling. I've been on both sides of it. Right now, I might be just that general broke that people are in their 20s. Because you don't have a lot of earning potential in your 20s. You normally have to work somewhere long enough to get those raises. In your 20s, you got to work on starting a business. Or you got to, just kind of figure out what you're good at. And that's why a lot of people say take risk in your 20s when you're young, because you can come back from it. But I have also been on the other side. I've been in situations where even though I live 30 minutes from school, I would have to take public transportation, the bus to school, and that would turn a 30-minute ride into like a 90-minute ride. So instead of an hour of going to and from class, it would become 3 hours. And that was just, 3 hours added to my day where I couldn't really do anything to change my situation. I remember I'd like study Spanish on the bus and things. You couldn't always do that. You got to keep your eye out. There's some characters on the bus sometimes. And I don't want to sound like, oh, boo-hoo, I had to ride the bus. That was a risk to my health. But there was a risk in that. A lot of the homeless are mentally ill in this country. And, there's got to be more support for that. But, they would often sleep on the bus stops. And I remember more than a few occasions, my friend and I would be chased by someone who was legitimately struggling with mental illness from the bus stops and things. And we're just trying to get our education, Or, shoot, it's kind of rough to go into it. But times I have lived in my car, times I hear, hey son, we're losing the house. And it can be rough, almost disastrous, and almost impossible to come back from that. I just never want to make anyone feel ashamed, no matter where you come from. I try to stick to the facts as much as possible, because honestly, I do feel that knowledge is power, and that it's your life, you make the decisions that you want to make. But at the end of the day, for me, this channel is about if you see something, say something. And I see a lot of financial illiteracy in my generation. I see a lot of irresponsible spending. I see just people struggling. Maybe I haven't lived like most Americans have lived. Definitely lower class. But, it's not all doom and gloom either. I've also seen a lot of people my age are starting businesses. A lot of people my age are making money through online sources, whether freelancing, vlogging, blog, social media management, coding. A lot of my friends, after they graduated, they ended up working at big places like Google, Microsoft, and things. And those are ways of making income that a lot of people wouldn't even think about and wouldn't even know if it wasn't brought to their attention. So that's why I never want my channel to be about leaving the rat race, leaving the 9 to 5, oh, let's retire and go off on a beach somewhere. That's so far away for so many Americans in this country, and you don't have to be stunned to live a good life. You can just be you, but with a little different decisions. Because at the end of the day, and they've done studies on this, but after people make a certain amount of income, your happiness kind of plateaus. and you got to deal with yourself again. Yeah, just thought I'd want to address that before I start making a lot more videos about money. I know it can be a polarizing topic. You know, people, oh, money's the root of all evil. Or, oh, all you talk about is money, dog. Or, oh, you must be so ambitious. But it's like, nah, I just saw a problem. I'm trying to help people out. So, yeah. If you think my channel can help someone out, feel free to share it. If you want to see more videos, comment down below. Tell me what you want to see. Subscribe if you're into that. And, yeah, just take care, man. Never feel bad about what your situation is, because as long as you're taking steps to change it, you're on the right path. Money is everywhere. It's a lifelong journey, and it just takes a while to get it together. Nothing moves too fast. So I'll catch y'all next time.